A few things on the go today. So the IBC tote frame, we're going to give you a garden update. We're going to do a compost update. The big pile seems to be working okay, and if it warms up, we're going to try and get to the bees. It's been 2 weeks since we put them in, and I want to see how they're doing, so that'll be a bit of an adventure. Hopefully it warms up. Maybe it's better that it's cool, that they won't be so active, but that's on the agenda today. But yeah, we're enjoying the flowers and the spring flowers, and that's going to be our nature break today too, is some of the flowers that we've got going on here. Anyway, I'm glad you could visit and enjoy the video. Welcome everyone. Glad you could visit. We just got back from work. We were doing an install in the city, and we just got back. Missed a full day of sun. Here we've been begging for sun and blue sky, and I have to go work. Anyway, we're home now, and we figured before supper we're going to do a little bit of work in the garden where Mrs. From the Woods is digging the edge. Hi, Mrs. From the Woods.
Hello.
Is going to be where we have a bit of a traditional garden. We don't have bark chips. Well, we do have bark chips. Well, we're going to do some regular gardening here. We're going to put potatoes, some other root crops, a few other things. But I went through it the other night with a rototiller we borrowed from the neighbor, and trying to keep my eye open for a cheap one that I can buy myself, but eventually we'll get one. But we borrowed one for this time, for this year, and just a little thing, just a little Honda rototiller, 4-tine, and yeah, you know, I didn't think it would actually make it through some of this dirt, but it actually does okay. And a little Honda 4-stroke FG 110. I don't know if that has anything to do with the size, or maybe. At any rate, neat little unit, easy to handle. Even Mrs. From the Woods is going to give it a try here. So that's tonight's project, is to get this garden bed ready, and maybe over the next couple of days we'll get some seed potatoes in and some other things. So this little Honda unit is probably only about an 8-inch tine. Doesn't go very deep, probably not deep enough that we should have maybe gone with a deep till rototiller, but good enough for this year. Maybe next year we'll get a bigger rototiller and go down deeper, mix in some more compost, get it down real deep. But you know, it's 10 inches by the time you get to the shield on the rototiller. And real easy to handle. It's not heavy, and even Mrs. From the Woods can do it. Okay, well, the weather is starting to turn, which is what the weatherman predicted. We were supposed to get rain this afternoon, and it's a little earlier than they figured, 2 hours early, but we thought we'd give you the quick garden update. So on previous video, we put up the garden fencing. It is now about 95% complete. I got to do a couple more clips and a couple more nails. But we ran the animal fencing along the back side of those metal poles. And yeah, it ends right about there. I've still got to put a bit of deer fencing in between the fence and the garden shed. So we have a compost pile here going. No science behind that one, just throwing kitchen scraps and some other stuff in there. We managed to pick up a couple more rain barrels, and we will eventually, assuming that the big tank is fixed, pump it all up here. So the garden planter boxes, Mrs. From the Woods has put herbs in them, seeds. They've been in about 3 days or so. So we've got some tarragon, sage, summer savory, rosemary, oregano, thyme, cilantro, parsley, basil. So hopefully all that comes up. We've had some cool weather, but a little bit of rain. And then the main garden. Mrs. From the Woods has been working on this over the past week. So we've got 3 rows of potatoes, 2 rows of carrots, lettuce, all your standard greens. We've got arugula, I like arugula, spinach, radish, beets, dill. And in the back side there, we'll walk over there in a second, we've got some other plants going. There is some stuff coming up already, amazingly enough, within 2 or 3 days. The arugula came up really quick. We've got lots of spinach showing itself, and of course radish, which is a quick grower. So hopefully we can maybe even get a second row in a couple of weeks. Some of the lettuce is coming up. No sign of the carrots as of yet. And we have a few potatoes coming up. So let me see if I can zoom in on one there. There's one, and there's about 5 or 6 starting to pop out of the ground, which is kind of nice. Okay, we'll move over to the west side of the garden. Okay, so Mrs. From the Woods planted 2 varieties of tomatoes. I'm not sure what they are. They were started in the house as seeds and were transplanted out here against the gabion wall. We did put some Epsom salts in there, give it a bit of head start with that. We have beans, which were just planted, so nothing showing there. We have cauliflower, nothing showing there yet. Still early on in the game here. But again, some other things here. Brussels sprouts, also started indoors and transplanted out here. They seem to be catching pretty good. Nice and green. And then rhubarb in the back there. Those are clippings or roots that we've taken from the old house yet. The deer ate them right down to the ground and they're just starting to recover. Okay, on the very west side there, again, that's the asparagus. The sprigs, they came up actually quite well inside the house. And maybe they're still in shock from being transplanted. We've got a whole bunch of onion sets coming up. A whole bunch of red onions, yellow onions, some garlic. The garlic hasn't shown itself yet. In the back corner there we have pumpkins. We thought that might be fun to try. I don't care for pumpkin, but the kids like to carve them at Halloween, so we'll see if that works. Watermelon as well. Not too sure if that's going to be a crop that we can grow here, but we thought it would be fun. On the back side there, pickles or cucumbers. That's going to be our first attempt at preserving, and I like pickles. Okay, we've got peppers. They're showing to be coming along quite nicely. Nice and green, healthy looking. And then another variety of tomato. I believe these are Tiny Tims. And a lot of them, again, started in the house and transplanted outside. I'm guessing they probably need a lot of heat, which we haven't had lately. But yeah, we'll see how the garden goes. And Mrs. From the Woods has also done a few flowering plants just because she loves to be up here. And okay, so we thought we'd try some blueberries. We've had mixed reports on whether they grow in Alberta. Some greenhouses won't sell it to you because they don't, and they don't want to sell a product that won't grow. But other greenhouses, some of your big box stores will. And so we thought we'd give it a try. The label says it's Zone 3 hardy, but we're going to give that a shot. Apparently you need 2 to cross-pollinate, so we got 2. And a goji berry bush, which is supposed to be a superfood. And we all know that we could use superfoods. Anyway, we're going to give that a try. That's Zone Hardy to Zone 2. Give that a try. They all look healthy. And we've got a few other things that we're going to show you yet too. Okay, so right by the gate here, we bought some strawberry rootstock. They came in a pack of 20. So we tried 9 or 10 here in a strawberry pot that we had from the old house. Thought we'd utilize that or try that. And then we dug up some lilac shoots, and they seem to be recovering. They went through a bit of shock, but they seem to be recovering. So we miss the lilacs, the look and the smell that comes in the spring with all the blooms. So we'll hopefully get that on the go as well. Yeah, and then a couple of just some standard garden plants, some geraniums. Give the garden a bit of ambience and some color. Yeah, so we've got one more section of the garden to show you, and that's where we keep our raspberries and some other stuff. Okay, so this is the part of the garden that is actually outside of the main garden, but we had to put all the raspberry shoots that we took from the old house somewhere, and the garden hadn't been started when we moved. But this is what's coming back. For the longest time it was so cool, we thought, is it coming back? Is it coming back? And then we had a couple of days of heat and bang, there it all is. But there's some chives mixed in there. And yeah, fairly large raspberry patch, so hopefully that grows here. Some strawberries that came back this year, and they look pretty healthy as well. There's actually a bloom on them already. And the remainder of the strawberry rootstock from that 20 pack that we bought, we put out here. So there's probably about another 9 or 10 out here. But eventually we'd like to expand this a bit further and clean it up, and then put some other fruit bushes in here, something along that line. Okay, so that's the garden started. One of the big projects that we wanted to get done this year so that we can enjoy some fresh produce and fresh fruit and just enjoy the outdoors. We'll give you updates as the summer goes here on how things are going. This is our first attempt at a vegetable garden at all. We've never had one. We've always had flowers, but never a vegetable garden, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get rain and sun in its good portion, and the garden will be a success this year. So that concludes the garden update, and more to follow.